Alright, come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on their playlist, find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest, in and out points, no celebs and the gossip, back in time where we talk about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue, quick checks, who'll be laughing, you abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast we care all latest in television and entertainment news with two meals with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of the sticky bandits, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. And I was going to say, some people may just call us the Bandits. Some may call us the Wet Bandits. And others may call us the Sticky Bandits. Woo!
Yes, the Sticky Bandits, because this is Home Alone 2 we're talking about. In Home Alone 1, they were the Wet Bandits. Here they are the Sticky Bandits. We're going to be breaking it all down tonight. It's a very special holiday movie recap. It's kind of a tradition, and almost always now during the week of Thanksgiving. I mean, for many people, that is kind of like the start of the holiday season. That day after Thanksgiving marks, Christmas is around the corner. And let's see, about 2 years ago, we did Home Alone 1 for the 30th anniversary of that in 2020. And yesterday was the 30th anniversary of the sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. November 20th, 1992, it came out. I was barely 2 years old.
Yeah.
And
This was when Macaulay Culkin was raking in money for his parents, man. Raking in all the cash.
We'll get
He was
to
like
that.
in everything, man.
Yeah, he made quite a bit for this sequel. This was after the first movie. The first movie was such a hit that this one was, of course, like just so much more. They had to up the ante. We'll see if they ended up doing that, so this film, like the first film, is written and produced by John Hughes and directed by Chris Columbus, and it stars Macaulay Culkin as a young boy who's separated from his family again. But instead of defending his Chicago area home, he's now lost in New York City. And it definitely was successful. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't going to hit the heights of the first film, because that one was just like out of the gate so much money. But it was still big. It made $358 million worldwide, and it's the third highest grossing movie of 92, behind just Aladdin and The Bodyguard. Those were the other two films.
Those were the top three?
The top three. Aladdin was number one.
Oh my
Bodyguard.
gosh.
I don't even know that film.
Bodyguards with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner, I think. I
don't know. That's what you were watching in 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys remember before we get into, scene by scene, line by line of this film? What do you remember from Home Alone 2, watching this as you grew up? John, was this a staple in your household?
No, I remember seeing it maybe once or twice total. I would be surprised if this was not the third time I saw it just this weekend. So definitely not one that we watched super often. Even the first one we didn't really watch that super often. So yeah, I remember some of it, but there's definitely parts of it that I was like, oh, I didn't remember that. Like,
yeah. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, I didn't. I remember watching it when I was young. I don't know when, but after that, I think the most recent time I've seen Home Alone 2, I think since we've seen Home Alone, the first one, just like clicking through the channels. But I gotta say, I have no connection really to either of these films, because similar with John, it's not like a one that we had to watch every time, every Christmas or whatever. So I don't really have that kind of connection with the film. My connection, if anything, would be more so with the first one. But the second one, I have seen a few scenes of more recently. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this more recently. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. For me, I feel like these just all just blend together. Even like when we were doing the rundown the first time for the first movie, I was like, wait, where's the scene with this? Or where's the trap with that? And it's like, oh, wait, that's the second movie. And they're like, they all kind of blend together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hellbilly XO in the chat. I'm not sure if I've ever even watched Home Alone 2. Don't worry. Don't worry. We will
Oh,
break
boy.
it all down. It'll be like you've seen the film after tonight. But watching this, I really noticed this time around how it's like the same exact movie
It's
as
a formula.
one.
It's a formula.
Yeah.
They plugged it all in.
It's The Hangover Part 2, just doing the
Yeah.
same exact thing, just tweaking it a little bit. Because it's like, okay, yeah, obviously he's left again, but even, instead of the scary neighbor with the shovel, that he befriends, and there's a heartfelt scene of holiday music in the church with him, and that guy later saves the day. Here, we have the scary pigeon lady that he befriends, and a heartfelt scene of
we
holiday
gotta talk
music,
about that.
who later
That
saves
is
the day.
ridiculous, man.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff that's like the chase scene after shopping alone, and the film noir to scare people, and it's just, but as John is showing here, there's already at least one change, big change from the first film.
Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, we went from Pepsi to Coke. It looks like they lost
sponsorship.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So our friend Kieran Roman Roy Culkin.
Yeah.
Is drinking Coke instead of Pepsi gonna wet the bed with Coke instead, I guess, in Home Alone 2. Easy on the fluids, bud. But yeah, so there's of course the holiday party. Let's get right into the movie here. We're to start off with the giant McAllister house. I don't know what this father does for a living.
I think we talked about that last time too. That
Did we figure it out?
No, we didn't know.
Is tonight just gonna be a repeat of Home Alone 1? Just all of our same takes. But yeah, so we obviously we should talk a little bit about the star. Of course, Macaulay Culkin. Actually, it's on Wikipedia as. Do you remember the In and Out point we talked about where he changed his name? That is on Wikipedia still.
Wow.
It's actually Macaulay Culkin is his correct name nowadays.
His legal name, yes.
His legal name. But Macaulay Culkin was just Macaulay Culkin then. And for this film, he made $4.5 million plus 5% of the gross.
Wow.
That was the highest salary for a child actor at the time. To put things in perspective, he made just $110,000 for the original.
Wow.
Oh my God. Well, he was making up for it. Making up for the I hope they got back end deal on this bad boy too. Jeez Louise.
They got 5% of the gross. It's always one of those things though with these like Hollywood movies where they're like, well, actually we didn't make money because you have to take out marketing and
that's a crock.
And then it's like, oh, we actually only made 7 million. It's like, wait a minute. It says here you have $600 billion you made off of this.
Yeah.
But
that whole thing's a lie. With how many people are doing digital media at this point, there's money somewhere, and I don't know where it's going, but they're not giving it to, all the crew members and all that.
Yeah,
it's going straight to the top.
A $2 million consulting fee that came off the top. Like,
yeah. And he didn't do too much after this. Actually, I looked at his IMDb, and just for 2 more years. He was working, at least his childhood acting roles. He's done some stuff since, but his final film role as a young actor was just 2 years later in 1994's Richie Rich. Do you remember Richie Rich?
Yeah, I do remember.
That was
Richie.
A staple for
That's
me.
the one I remember. I remember Richie Rich a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Hellbilly in the chat is asking Home Alone before or after Uncle Buck. I'm gonna assume.
I don't know.
Seen it.
Oh my
God! I think Uncle Buck was before. And
is Uncle Buck in the
80s? I feel like it was 80s.
I think it is too.
Yeah, so that's probably where he rose to the fame there, at least initially.
1989.
1989, yep, just before Home Alone. I
Just
think that's all
before.
the John Hughes universe there. Yeah, let's see here. So we have the Talk Boy. That's what he's doing here in the parents' room. I wanted this so bad as a kid. This I
don't even remember this.
Because of this?
I think it was because of this. And because this was actually created for this movie. This didn't exist.
Oh.
And then it was like a little gadget that he had and used. And then it became so popular from the movie that it became a toy. And
it looks like
the
Zoom recorder. You'd get a P-Pex.
They probably still have it there. But yeah, so It's just I think it's because I wanted to do like all the little scams he did, like all the little like voice changing and recording and playing it back.
Yeah, dude. You know what? I was thinking about this as I was watching it. It looks so cool. And guess what? They've got you fooled, Dave.
Yeah.
Because guess what? He rewinds it to the perfect amount
Perfect.
each
Every
time.
Every time.
Never any doubt where this thing's recorded. So he couldn't be like just half record it and then be like, wait, I didn't get to the right spot. Wait 1 second. I gotta rewind it a little bit more.
He's doing with all the tech here. But he's recording the Plaza Hotel commercial he's seeing here. And I feel like this movie is just a huge ad for the hotel.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit later about the owner's demand, and what that means for the film. But you got the in the ad, the hotel, it's the real phone number that they're showing. I guess for the film that like they removed the carpet from the lobby. So like, Culkin can do that slip and slide floor scene a little bit later on. And the owner kept it. He actually liked how it looked afterwards. And so it's just interesting. Like they're using the real phone number, which I've noticed. I watched the TV edited version of Home Alone 2 on Freeform or whatever. And I noticed that they like blurred out the phone numbers in all like his like address books and stuff. Maybe because they weren't 555s or whatever back then. But they kept this number in. This number's still there. But
did you try calling it?
I didn't call it. Should we do it live on the podcast?
Yeah,
John?
let's do it live.
Hello, this is David Allen.
I'd like to make a reservation.
All right. But so they're packing up. There's so many there's so many plugs in the outlet. There's just too many plugs, and the father needs to charge his razor, and he unplugs everything and plugs it back in. And of course, the clock gets unplugged here. And this sets up why they have their missed wake up call later on. But to me, it's wild because like they didn't. I'm super paranoid with these things, with like alarms and traveling the next day. I'm checking it right before I go to bed like 6 times.
Yeah.
This is like 5:30 or whatever when this happens. They're going to go to the Christmas pageant. Nobody checks the alarm, first of all, in this room. And then nobody else in this entire house of like 20
is
people
awake.
Doesn't wake up
no
naturally.
early risers, nothing like.
But also, it can't be 5:30 in the morning because when they leave, it's oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's bright, nice and bright out.
Yeah. Because this is like 5:30 when they're like getting ready because they're going to go to the pageant after.
Yeah.
Then they're going to come home. Then they're going to wake up in the morning. But like at no point in that time did anybody think to check this clock. And then you have Uncle Frank over here, the curmudgeon, complaining, "Oh, what a wake up service you have! Do you not have a clock? Do you not have a watch? Like you can't do it yourself here."
Yep.
This guy, we complained about last time with him. Like, what's his deal? He's always taking advantage of his brother. It's another free trip, another vacation. He even mentions like your dad spent a lot of money on this trip. I didn't spend any, but no care in the world. This guy is singing in the shower, having a ball, doesn't care. For some reason, this song is like stuck with me. I always can hear this song. I don't know this song outside of this movie, but I just know. Sometimes I'll be like, "This can't be talking about." Like I hear this song because of this. So he left an impression, Uncle Frank.
Clearly, and he's just being recorded. Who's also singing this loud with like 18 family members over?
He doesn't care. He takes over this house every Christmas. He thinks he owns the place. But well, speaking of singing, let's go to the Christmas pageant. And Kevin has a very special solo, but Buzz has his own intentions here. He's playing around with these candles, putting them behind the ears, drumming on his head.
Yeah. To be fair, I would have kept going if I was getting the laughs he was getting, man. This guy should be selling out MetLife with how good his jokes are.
Yeah, he was.
Did you hear the crowd? They were going crazy.
Every single person except for Uncle Frank was laughing. They were all dying. And it's wild because these aren't teenage high school kids. These are parents. Like, can you imagine? Oh, if this was my kid, or like
Yep.
No, they don't care. And this would always irked me that everyone thinks it's like Kevin's fault. That this is like this is all Kevin's fault. And the entire audience is laughing. Parents clearly see this, but of course when Kevin pushes Buzz, do you think Buzz like made a big spectacle so it could make it like a big knockdown? Like, oh, Kevin pushed me.
Sure. Why not, dude? He had to go down.
Yeah,
He like flopped. Do you think that little 2-year-old could push that big kid over? No.
But yeah, this is wild. Everyone falls. The Christmas tree falls on the piano player, knocks her off. It's just chaos. And both of them are in trouble, equal to the parents, that they're both at fault here. And Buzz is such like a fake liar. I don't understand. It's like the parents actually believed this thing. He does this like every day, Buzz. It's just but this lawyer-like apology, it works. Buzz calls him a trout sniffer.
What even is that insult?
I don't know.
Like, did that come from somewhere, or is it just something they made up? Like,
is this something they said in the 90s? I don't.
Maybe that because he's like smelling fish. I don't know. Like,
why is he smelling fish?
Fishy? It's like, oh, that's a fishy story. Like, I
don't know. Trout sniffer.
A trout sniffer. Because like I'm like, what is this like PG insult? It's like Back to the Future with like butthead. It's just like, what are you? Because the film, at least in the TV edited version, Kevin says, "Hey, you big horse's ass." Like they're okay with saying ass in this film.
Yeah,
that's their one cuss they're allowed to use.
They're one. Yeah, trout sniffer. But Kevin doesn't apologize. Is of course left alone, but this time he actually does make it to the airport. We already discussed the issue with the alarm and like how they didn't check this, but I feel like the family, they always have the shuttle service come. They never think to like have the shuttle service come maybe a little bit earlier, just a little bit early, because they're always rushing to the airport. Like, just maybe get them the shuttle there 15 minutes early. I don't.
Nowadays, you got to be 3 hours early.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about airport security
post 9/11.
Yeah. There's no way, dude. There's no way. You'd have to be there. Yeah, way early. You would know if you woke up right then. You'd be like, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not happening.
We're done.
Let's call it a wrap.
But Kevin wants batteries, and he can't wait. He needs it for his talk boy, and the dad, there might be in my bag, we'll worry about it later kind of thing. In all this chaos, when he's looking for batteries, he mistakes one man from behind as his father and follows him to the left instead of going right with his family. And the family all gets out to the gate, and the parents are told you can't, wait for the kids, they'll get on. But it's like they don't even think to look once they're on the plane. It's like, okay, now we're on the plane. Can we just see if Kevin, the kid we left last year, is on this plane? Nope. Okay, like they don't have a buddy system worked out this time around. Like, I don't even know why Kevin wants to be in this family. They don't like him. Like they just
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what it's like to have 8 or whatever siblings it is. But clearly they're not doing a counter anywhere.
No,
they don't have the tally marker for all the kids that they have.
Getting into the car. That's it.
Yeah,
but
Kevin, also, I just want to say Kevin just slides right in.
This is
all he had to do is knock over some other, check-in stubs or whatever, and boom.
Yeah, he bumps into the boarding pass worker here, and says his story or whatever. Yeah, my dad's in there or whatever. It's like, okay, board him. Make sure he finds his dad, and then as soon as he gets in there, it's like, oh, you see your dad? Yep, there he is. Okay, go find an empty seat.
Yep, not your assigned seat.
Nope, just find
whatever
one.
Seat.
Wherever you want, first class, business, whatever.
Oh my god,
pick a seat. That wouldn't happen in the 90s, like let alone now with all the security and all the stuff we have to go through. There's no way that this would even remotely happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The family makes it down to Miami. They're down in Florida. They do the famous, give this to Kevin, give this to Kevin, the bag down the line. I love how it misses Buzz both times. They make a point to show Buzz is not even like he's like staring off into space. And then it gets to the end, and it says, like, Mom does the famous realization scream, Kevin. Do you have a good Kevin impression, John? I know you're sick. Can you yell
No,
Kevin
I
at the top of your
don't.
lungs right now?
I don't. I'm like 4 octaves too low to do it, I think, right now.
Yeah, so does the famous Kevin yell and passes
She
out,
nails it.
realizes we did it again. We did it again.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin made it to New York City. We see the famous skyline here.
Oh yeah, the famous one that doesn't exist.
What are you
This is what I
talking about?
love. This is what I love about Hollywood magic. It's like people that are never gonna get close to New York are like, "Oh my God, is it really like that?" It's like, no,
Nope.
no, it's not.
I was
It's
so
not even
confused.
close.
That looks like it's New Jersey almost.
Well,
You
that's
know?
the thing. When I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is, oh, maybe he landed in Newark.
Newark.
Yeah.
He's looking from
No.
that way. But I'm pretty sure this is reversed.
Yeah.
Like, he's looking from the east west at
Yes.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Which would mean it would be LaGuardia, which is not even close to this.
Yeah.
No.
But either way, I guess we're supposed to assume it's LaGuardia because he ends up taking a cab via the Queensboro Bridge in. And I was like, oh, first I was like, oh, if this is Newark, I caught a mistake here. You just wanted the shot of the skyline. But whatever. It's a movie.
Yeah. It's that movie magic.
Yeah, but he knows his way around New York City for a 10-year-old. I barely get around as well as he can. He ends up in Chinatown to get some fireworks. He's in Battery Park. He's going everywhere. There's one spot that was absent though, and I wonder if you guys saw it in your versions. On my TV edited version, I remember watching this as a kid that he stops at the World Trade Center, but not on the TV version. The TV version had him cut out since 9/11, and I believe they were supposed to go back in. They were supposed to put him back in, recently, but at least the version I saw, not there. The montage just stops.
It was on mine because he was at the it was at the top. He was at the top because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
To see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So it wasn't mine.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, it's just I'm probably watching an old cut on even
but
though
why
it just aired.
But why take it out? It's
That's
not like
the same
it's
question
like
I had. Yeah, I could see if maybe it came
not
out.
Offensive.
No.
I mean, it used to be there. This is an old movie. I don't understand.
It's an interesting thing. I think I was telling John before the show. I just remember hearing because again we were young when this happened that all the TV, all the movies that it featured the trade centers that they took them out, whether it was the establishing shots of like in Friends, like they wouldn't show them, after that they in Spider-Man, I think they had some kind of either poster or trailer. They had like a web in between them where like there was like a helicopter, like they caught the bad guys or something in, and maybe that's because it's a little too close to home with a helicopter in between the trade centers.
Sure.
So maybe that, but yeah, this is weird where it's a kid just going to the top.
Yeah.
To the thing. Can we go back to the gift, John? Because I do have a question. When he's at the top of the World Trade Center and he has his Polaroid out and his Polaroid is facing up, what is he taking a picture of?
The helicopter.
Is it the helicopter from Spider-Man 2 or whatever?
Yeah.
Let's watch this. He's like, okay, here we go. I'm taking it's taking a photo of the camera, but he's like taking it up. Like,
it's the sun, man. He's looking right into the eclipse.
He's on the tallest building in the city, and he's facing it towards the sky. But I don't know. But he's getting some good shots with his Polaroid camera.
Yeah, there was
one great.
There was one cool shot. Actually, I think it was while he was doing the tourist stuff, where he was like standing in front of the statue, and it's like pointing, but we see the statue. He's in the the background, the statues in the foreground. This is a cool shot that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a kids movie, but it was like, oh, that was interesting. That was cool.
Director Chris Columbus.
Oh yeah, Chris
not that
Columbus,
Chris, the other one. But yeah, so now we're at the police station and in Florida here, and the police think he's still in Chicago. And I love how the officer's like, has he ever been in a situation where he was alone before? And the mom of all people is shaking her head no. And the dad has to be like,
hang on a second.
Just last year this happened. It's the exact same thing. How does she not remember? This was a year ago.
It could be that. I mean, she has an expression on her face like, yeah, I remember, but I don't want to really admit that I've lost my kid before.
Yeah. I know it's like in this situation, like, it's like the stress and the anxiety, but like even like they started joking where it's like, hey, we never lost our luggage though. And they're like, knock on wood, they're all laughing. It's like, again, your kid is missing. But
again, she has 8. I mean, she could spare one,
she
really.
Could lose one or two. Yeah. She could. That was the number one note I sent on Instagram, send in your thoughts about the movie. And we had comments specifically about the parenting and losing children here. Kuka Becky said, such a good movie, a classic, but how do you lose a child and have no idea he is missing? And then What's Up Nikki said, how'd they forget this kid twice? Irresponsible. So a lot of people,
dude, it was
parents.
I mean, I think we're in a different time now with like helicopter moms, but like in the 70s and 80s, man, it was just like, yeah, you want to go over to Johnny's? All right, fine. And then they like let you go, and it was like, oh, we'll see you back at dinner time, kind of thing. It was just a different.
I get that.
Different era.
With this mom, the amount of stress and the things she
know.
went through the year before, she should be overly protective now of specifically Kevin. But Kevin makes it to the Plaza Hotel, and he runs into a very familiar face, Donald Trump. So I'm going to talk about this for a minute here. According to director Chris Columbus, one of the conditions to shoot these scenes at the Plaza Hotel was for the owner to have a cameo in the film, and that man was
Donald my Trump. God.
So this was a contractually obligated cameo, and there was talk. We talked about things being cut out of the movie. Macaulay Culkin endorsed a petition in 2021 to edit him out of the film. There was all these petitions going around for some reasons, I think, during that time. Who remembers what was happening in January of 2021?
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping politics out of all this, I think this should have been cut out for one simple reason. Donald Trump's a liar. Specifically in this scene. Because Kevin asks where the lobby is, and Trump says down the hall and to the left. But that's not where it is. We immediately see Kevin walk down the hall and turn right into the lobby. So
did he turn right?
He turns right.
Oh man.
We're seeing it from him. So when he turns, it's his right. But yes, he's a liar.
Yeah.
We got the facts here. We have it on film. He lied.
I mean, if you wanted to edit him out, it'd be really easy to do it because there really is no point to this at all besides just showing Donald Trump.
There's no reason behind this cameo. What's odd is actually, I was thinking, I'm getting confused. I remember he also has a cameo in The Little Rascals, but I was thinking that was Richie Rich for a second. I was getting my 90s kids films all screwed up.
Little Rascals. Oh, man.
But there was one last IMDb trivia fact I saw because I went through all the trivia facts to get the podcast ready. And this is just, I think, a fun fact. I never would have thought this, but of all the dozens of cast and crew members of this American classic, only one member, Donald Trump, was impeached twice by the United States House of Representatives. Out of the dozens of cast and crew. Just
wow.
What
are the chances?
Joe Pesci wasn't? Really?
No.
Wow.
Well,
might have been the Senate for him, but this was
I mean, you could say Chris Columbus could have had his day.
Yeah.
If that
Chris,
yeah, Chris.
All right, but yeah, Kevin uses the talk boy to check in and slow down his voice to be Pete McAllister, the father. And if that wasn't a red flag, specifically calling out that you're the father, he wants an extra large bed, a TV, and one of those little refrigerators you have to open with a key. Very specific demands, right, John?
And they didn't even give him the fridge with the key. It was just open.
Yeah. He had a little like cabinet with a key with all the cookies and stuff in there.
I don't even. Did he even use a key for that? I thought he just opened it up.
Think, yeah, maybe he just unlocked it and then it was all he kept it unlocked. But yeah, no refrigerator with a key. He did have that TV. It was a big bed, but yeah, this was definitely something where this would immediately have the police like there within 2 minutes because you have to use a credit card. And back in the 90s here, they had the old school, analog machine here.
Yeah.
Not computerized because instantly if they just put that pin chip in, it's like, oh, okay, he's at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. So that's it's one of those things. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Besides, at this point, Kevin would have had like the mom would have just put an air tag in his pocket or something. Right. So let's talk a little bit about the hotel staff. We got Rob Schneider as the bellhop, Tim Curry as the concierge. Is this still an ad for the movie? Because I don't know if they're the best staff they have working here.
Yeah. They're buffoons. Rob Schneider always looking for a tip, which is so brash to do, right? I mean,
yeah. But like instantly, like he's snooping in his bag. He's snooping. Tim Curry breaks into the room and looking around. It's just like, again, if I was going to the Plaza Hotel after seeing this movie, it's like, oh, do I really trust the hotel staff to, do what they're supposed to be doing? But
I also love how, because it's a kid's movie, right? Tim Curry, when he sees Macaulay Culkin, he doesn't get concerned, like, oh, like find out who this. It was like almost menacing, like
that kid's
find out who this kid is and bring him to justice. You know what I mean? It was just so weird.
Yeah, he must just hate kids. Tim Curry,
maybe
something, but Kevin's having a good day. His perfect day at the hotel. Let's break it down. He's working on cannonballs in the pool. I like how he politely asks around him, do you mind if I practice my cannonballs? So it's like, yeah,
hey,
sure.
I mean, when you're making a big splash, you gotta let the people know.
I like how he asked the people in like the hot tub. He didn't ask any of the women that were like behind
closest
him
to him. Yeah,
that would get splashed. He's having ice cream sundaes with 3 scoops because he's not driving, and then he's watching some film noirs, and we definitely talked about this for the first film.
Yeah, this is the same one.
Like film noirs. Well, it's actually.
But is it the same one?
It's the same people. It's the sequel. The original in the Home Alone 1, it's angels with filthy souls. In this film, it's angels with even filthier souls. So they made a sequel within a sequel.
All right. Okay.
But again, why does this 10-year-old love black and white film noirs?
The action.
Yeah, dude.
Like, watch Scarface. Like, find something like up to date. Rambo. Like, find an up to date action movie. Die Hard. Do something. Like, don't pick the movie from the 1930s or whatever this is supposed to be. Like,
dude, the kid likes what he likes, I guess. I don't know, man.
No, he can't watch. He's always scared. He's covering his eyes with the violence. But he knows all the terms. He's like, oh, she's rat bait, which is another movie in the stack of. He's watching just a marathon of film noirs. I did love this moment with Rob Schneider when he comes up to deliver his boxers, which are like ironed out. They're all and he's like, you gotta be careful. There's girls on the floor. This 10-year-old. But and I like how he's like, like, oh, you want a tip? He's like, oh, nope, I'm still working on, the one from yesterday. And he takes out a wad of cash. He's like, oh, no tip? Okay. And he just puts it back, and it's just like,
got good old
knows
Rob
what he's
Schneider.
doing. He knows what he's doing with these adults here. But
and then
we got the Tim Curry check-in. Kevin's ready for him. How did he do this so quickly? Did he have the inflatable clown already?
Yeah,
He had to have.
he had to have.
So he's just been showering with this inflatable clown
Yeah,
all
dude.
week.
Ready
How
for
was
this
this
moment.
a pool toy? This was supposed to be like a pool toy that he got for like a gift. Like, what 10-year-old would want a pool toy of?
Going to
I don't
Florida,
know.
dude.
Yes. Give me like nowadays they have the floaties of like a slice of pizza or like, I don't know, a big donut or something. No, this is a life-size clown.
Maybe it stands upright somehow and just holds your alcoholic beverage or beverage of your
10.
choice.
In his hands, yeah.
Yeah, his Coca-Cola. But
Yeah.
there's the inflatable clown. You got the audio from Uncle Frank singing. Just like the first movie with the Michael Jordan cutout at the fake party. Of course, we have to have a scene with this. And I will say, because we get so much of Tim Curry here and later on, I do like Tim Curry. I feel like he's so good as a villain. It's just you get like this dissolve from the Grinch movie, from that smile into his smile when he's running the credit card to see it was stolen. It's just, this is like stayed with me as like a kid, just like always associating him as a villain because of Home Alone 2, even though he's had plenty of other roles. But,
I also love the fact that when he runs the credit card, it just says stolen on the front of it. Like, that's how it works. Yeah.
Also, they ran it with the analog machine before, and now they're doing some digital stuff. Like,
yeah, so I don't know, because like I guess with the analog, it's like, okay, we'll do them now, but then like maybe on checkout, like we have your credit card on file, and then on checkout we'll end up running it, actually
running
getting
it.
the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Still,
I don't know.
But it doesn't pop up and say "stole." It might be much safer if it actually did that every time you went to use the card.
But,
jeez.
So Tim Curry's not the only villain in this film. We haven't even mentioned the Sticky Bandits yet. They've escaped. They're ready to take out, get their phony passports, go to a foreign country like Arizona.
Yeah.
And they changed their name from the Wet Bandits to the Sticky Bandits. And I love how they're just like there's like a runner of Marv, like constantly like grabbing like winter hats and gloves and just throughout the movie. I just love how it's like they just keep going off with that. But we see him at the ice rink, which is also owned by Donald Trump. Surprised he wasn't ice skating around this as well. But yeah, they're talking about robbing a toy store. And they're going to be waiting in little houses, the toy store. And of course, that is the toy store. Kevin arrives after a limo with a cheese pizza. Let's talk about Duncan's toy chest here. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Duncan's toy chest? This is toy
like,
store. Would you have liked this as a 10-year-old?
Probably not. I mean, it's too like antique style. Yeah, it's too much antique and not enough modernity, I guess. Isn't this like FAO Schwartz? Isn't it kind of? I would imagine it's similar.
Off of that, but yeah, this is
But as far as like the trains and everything, those things were always cool. I always thought they would be cool to have, but I would never have the patience in order to create them.
I like going to Wegmans now and just seeing the train.
Yeah, right.
At the grocery store, they have at Wegmans they have a train.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But,
might be worth a trip. But yeah, no, that's how I feel. I feel like it's too antique-y, but it does have some novelty, but I don't know what I would get there.
Yeah, like looking at it, it's like the Christmas Village houses, and there's ornaments and nutcrackers, and it's just like where are the Legos? Where's anything with batteries at this point? Like,
yeah,
it's wild. I don't even know what Kevin buys. It's like some like dinosaur head on a can of like Play-Doh. Like, I don't. Is it silly string?
Was that the goo? Was that the goo that he used in the end? The green goo that was on the floor?
Maybe.
And
maybe that's it.
That was like falling all over. I
Or
thought it
something,
was,
like,
but
yeah, I just don't know even what he bought at this store and where he found it. But he meets Duncan here, the owner of the store,
who just happens to be working the register.
Yeah, he meets the holidays. You got to pitch in wherever you can. And I love how he says all the money the store takes in today is going to charity. This is Christmas Eve. That is insane.
Yeah.
I love the nice man that Mr. Duncan is here, but that's no way to run a business. I could see maybe like, oh, from 6 to 8, whatever we make or something. Like, this is a lot of money on your busiest day to go
He's
to charity.
a generous man. He's willing to give up his cash and then immediately go on smoke break after he's done serving this child.
Yep. Gets his $7 for the Play-Doh or whatever, but Kevin actually gives him a $20 donation. Duncan in return gives him 2 turtle doves off of this like ornament statue, which will come back later on. For
it's basically the equivalent of those BFF for life, like stickers or whatever. Those heart. Yeah,
that, like, you got half your heart and you gave it to somebody else, a necklace. But okay, all right here. So for some reason, our sticky bandits decide to leave their houses, even though that was their plan, that they were going to wait in those houses. They decide to leave, get some air, maybe some food, and they bump into Kevin on the street. And of course, he screams. We get this chase, and I do like how there's like some vendor on the street. He buys these like pearl beads, and he just rips them apart to makes them trip here. And I found this article, and I think it'll be fun to go through when we see all these different traps that they set for these guys. Just how much physical damage that these 2 men go through. Because
they would be murdered. They were all murdered multiple times.
They would be, I mean, I don't know. I think at this point, Pesci has to be approaching 50 at this point. Like, he's in his 40s at least. And these guys, they slip onto the sidewalk. This article I'm mentioning here, it was from Entertainment Weekly. They asked the doctor and this professor of orthopedics from NYU, and he says, what would happen? Well, just with this one slip alone, herniated disc, possibly permanent damage, and at least 2 to 6 weeks of rest with probably surgery as well.
Yeah.
And that was just this one slip. This is the tip of the iceberg that these 2 are going to be facing.
This is a broken hip, and this isn't even the worst of it. Later on they get murdered multiple times.
Multiple, yeah.
In the same vein, Vsauce 3 did a video about Home Alone 1, breaking down all the injuries from that and the survivability and all that. So that's not 2, but it's in the same vein of, examining injuries, and that was a pretty good watch. If you're looking for something.
Yeah, I always love those when they like break it down. It's like, this is what really would have happened or cost you and stuff like that. But the chase continues. It goes into the plaza. Now the hotel workers are after him as well, and they run up to Kevin's room, but they're stopped by the film noir dialogue. Perfectly timed, as Kyle was saying. The fast forwarding, the muting, he's on all the remotes. He's got this whole dialogue going. And I have to ask, why does Tim Curry go along with this? He knows it's not real. He just found out the card was stolen. You just busted him. But you're stopped now when there's a voice of a 1920s gangster in Kevin's room.
It's scary, dude. It's scary. He's in the service industry. He's still got to service people, and he's being yelled at.
The guy had a Tommy gun too.
We'll get to that. First, he's going on in this monologue saying how he was, he caught you smooching with everyone. You were smooching with this guy and this person and that person and Cliff. And I do love this kind of cut where it goes down the line, the security guard, you see the name tag Cliff. He's like, no, not me. No, don't look at me. But yeah, then they bring out the Tommy gun, and they think that they're being shot here. And no, it wasn't that. And I love how Kevin still manages to find the time to lip sync "Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animals," leave, and then come back to say, "and a Happy New Year." Like, that's your top priority. Kevin's constantly like talking out loud to obviously us, but it's like he's talking to us. He's doing this. Like, who's this for?
But he's also befriending crazy pigeon ladies and running into apparently, discount Santa Claus. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, this whole thing's wild.
Yeah, well, the sticky bandits are waiting for him at the loading dock. They grab him. They say, you can't scream. Pesci has a gun in his pocket. And just so, happens in New York, the person that the sticky bandits saw just moments ago, they run into that person as again, this blonde woman where Kevin pinches her butt and punches Marv and Harry. And he gets away. He loses them in the park. I love Marv's picking up the wrong kid. I got him, and it's not the right one. But neither are worried because they both said, yeah, grown men don't even leave the park alive. And you gotta love that. I love New York tourism.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But honestly, I mean, yeah, true. They're not wrong.
But yes, but Kevin's running around. He's scared. He's in the park, and he runs into the scary pigeon lady. This woman's is a big actress. She's actually an Oscar winner. She won Best Supporting Actress in 1989 for My Left Foot. So it's wild that this film has so much talent because you have Pesci, Catherine O'Hara, Tim Curry. Here, Brendan Fricker is her name. They have EGOT noms between all of them. They between all of them, you add it up, they have an EGOT in nominations. They have 2 Oscar wins, 2 Emmy wins, and that's even before you add in Rob Schneider. If you add him in, you have 2 Oscar wins, 2 Emmy wins, and a Razzie Award. So,
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't know who got what in that combo.
I mean, it is the sequel to a very popular movie, and so you got to imagine that they were trying to get some more talent, and I'm sure those people want to make money too. So it would be like Robert De Niro doing what do you have, the Internship or whatever that movie was? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah,
but bad it's just grandpa. Like that.
He was the bad grandpa.
Yeah, it's that kind of situation, you know.
But yeah. So he ends up befriending her, and he goes to the attic of Carnegie Hall. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of zoned out in the scene. It was a heartfelt scene, but I was all right.
Yeah, but I mean, a heartfelt about what he's talking to the crazy pigeon lady. Yeah. What are we trying to tell kids here? That you should befriend the crazy pigeon person at the park? Because let me tell you, it's not going to work out like you think.
He's a human too. And that's what we're supposed to be. And I love how she's talking about like, oh, everyone left me. They're always leaving me. And then immediately after she says this, Kevin leaves. It's just like, I gotta go. Sorry. He has to go stop Marv and Harry. He didn't listen to anything she said. But we get to Operation Ho Ho Ho.
Which I never understood. This is at the house, right?
His aunt and uncle,
this is
right?
Aunt's and uncle's house.
So how do they know how to get to him?
He was in the address book.
Well, so who to get to who? Marv and Harry or Kevin to
Kevin. How do they know to get to Kevin there?
So we'll get to Duncan's in a second. He catches them at Duncan's. And then they run from Duncan's and they're chasing him. He's leading them to this house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that part. You're right.
Yeah, this house though is like
it's already falling down.
That is true. They're renovating it, but I have to ask, this aunt and uncle though, in this family, we already know how much Peter McAllister, he must be raking in the dough. But these guys are renovating a place on the Upper West Side. I don't know where they are.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're vacationing in Paris as it's happening. Like, again, this family.
What you don't know is that their relative was Theo Epstein. Is what?
Oh.
That's a bad joke.
I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, the place looks like a crap hole. I mean, it's got holes in the floor. But they're renovating, but there's holes in the floor. It's not like the floor is missing. There's like it broke.
They're house flippers. They got a good deal. They're gonna flip the house but I love how it's in the address book with a phone number, and it doesn't look like anybody's lived there in about 1,000 years. No, yeah, it's really worn down. Perfect for the jigsaw torture that Kevin's going to put these people through. But we're at Duncan's toy chest, and we caught the bad guys. The photo is taken, and Kevin breaks the window to sound the alarm. And the whole time I'm like, why does Kevin just not call the cops at any point? He should have went to the cops 2 days ago to just say he was lost, and they would call his parents.
He's taken matters into his own hands, man.
This guy, he's sadistic. He's a young Jigsaw. He wants to torture these people because, again, he could have easily have just gotten the police and say, hey, you see, there's 2 people in there right now robbing the place. Instead, no, he breaks the window. He lures them out.
I have them on tape. Like,
yeah, he's getting the evidence, but we get the first kind of Operation Ho 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 trap. This seesaw that Marv jumps on that sends Harry stories into the air.
Yeah, dude.
So
great.
High
he
up.
Must have really. He's got some power in those legs. He's been doing squats.
Yeah, and he lands. Pesci lands on the car and caves in the roof of the car. Again, Pesci's hitting 50 here.
Yeah,
and again, the article mentions this would definitely be multiple fractures, possibly permanent disability.
Yeah.
He gets so much air. This guy,
he does.
It's wild. But
he waits. He waits for Marv to come out and run and jump right on that.
Yep. It's like the perfect
Who's pulling a jump stop out of the place that they're stealing from?
That's true. But I love how it's literally just a board and like a can, and it's just perfectly like a perfect seesaw. But Marv and Harry are chasing Kevin to the house, and there's a little bit of negotiation from Pesci, but it doesn't work. Instead of sending the camera down, they send the bricks down, and each one,
dude,
4 in total, hit Marv in the head.
His brains would be on the ground.
They'd be all over the bricks.
His head you wouldn't even be able to recognize him.
One of them, he's gone. He hit 4 to the head. And yeah, as we're mentioning, the article brings up at best, brain damage, at worst, death. And they say, oh, what would it cost? What treatment would there be? And they're like, treatment, none. Cost $3,000 for a funeral or something. It was just like,
but all it cost him was some few marks of makeup.
Yep.
But no, his brain, dude, every single situation that Kevin created would have been sheer death, each and every single one of them. But it's like a cartoon, Yeah.
But I think it'll be fun because, like I mentioned earlier, when we were watching Home Alone 1, and I remember, like, man, this wasn't as violent as I thought. I like the first one, sure, there was moments, but there was like a BB gun. Maybe they slipped on some icy steps. They stepped on some glass ornaments. But this film, like, this is violent. This film.
I remember thinking, like, I don't remember it being this bad in the first one. This was really like wild.
And I have to think, I think it'll be interesting to see which one got it worse this time around, because I feel like when I remember from the first one, I feel like Joe Pesci had it a bit worse. I mean,
Marv definitely gets it, dude.
This one, I think, in this one, Marv.
Yeah.
But in the first one, I mean, Harry, he gets his hand burned so much that you still see the M in this movie, when he grabbed the doorknob, and of course he gets the blowtorch to the head, which would be quite painful. But yeah, this one, it's easily Marv. I mean, four bricks to the head is a lot, but he gets a staple gun to his butt and his nose.
And his groin.
Slips in his groin. He slips and runs into a bookcase full of paint cans that all hit him down. But the kicker, the one that is insane, is when he tries to wash up at a sink. It's hooked up to a car battery, and he's shocked so hard that he becomes a skeleton.
Yeah, dude.
I'll repeat that. He becomes a skeleton. There's no flesh. There's no muscle. There's no blood.
No.
He becomes a skeleton before transforming back.
Well,
Daniel Stern.
I always said Home Alone was one of the first zombie movies.
This is wild. Like I know it's just the dumb like
It is so
throwaway
silly.
cutaway gag, but man, it's just
It is so silly,
They
dude.
just
They
do a
put a
flash, and
beard.
they
They
just
put a
put-
beard and an afro on a skeleton. Yeah.
and they just shook him. It's just, but yeah, I also wonder this time around in the second movie if it was in like Pesci's contract where it's like, no, you did a lot to me in the first movie. Marv can get it this time. If you
Yeah.
like, because Marv is covered in paint. He's shocked hair.
Yeah.
You know, Harry is mostly clean.
Well, he dunked his
Yeah.
head. He would be exploded.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Marv Harry. He falls trying to catch the fire escape. He gets tools hit in the head. But yeah, his biggest thing, his head catches fire again, puts his head in the toilet, and there's an explosion.
Not only does he put it, I'm just now realizing he does a handstand on the toilet when he's burning flames. That's impressive.
He could have just taken the hat off.
That's also true.
Realistically.
Yeah, he could have taken the hat off. But yeah, this guy who already fell numerous times, is approaching 50, is doing handstands, lowering himself into a toilet. Good for him. But yeah, this would be, they said, third-degree burns. You know, he would also have.
He would not have a third-degree burns. How about not having a body anymore? He would have exploded.
They also said certain fatality, the cost would be a funeral, and if for some reason something would be positive in this, the best case scenario, there'd be like the skull bone and also the skin, that tissue would be so damaged and rotten that you would most certainly need a transplant. Like it would just, that's the best case scenario, which is so unlikely.
Yeah, it's a no, dog.
Yeah.
It's not. No, he's gone.
Yeah. But one thing they actually did get right in all this is when they had the tool chest like crashing down the stairs and it pushes them against the door, they get broken noses. And the article is like, this is actually accurately depicted. This is the damage that would happen, and it is possible for them to manipulate their nose back into place. So it's like, oh,
wow.
Okay. This is a myth busted here.
So an accurate depiction.
Yeah. The ones that really gotta hurt, especially for people in this age. This would hurt me now in my 30s. The falls. They start off with like a small fall where it's like the first floor to the basement for Marv, but then they get this one where they're trying to outsmart Kevin. They know about the paint cans now. And instead they send like this banister down and they go from the staircase on like the second floor back into the basement. And then they snip the banister and the banister falls down and hits them again.
That looks like a big lead pipe from like a sewage, you know, for like a toilet.
What this is. Like,
that's heavier than a banister for sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever knocked the wind out of yourself? It is probably the closest thing you could feel like to dying without actually, because you just can't breathe. You're like trying to breathe, dude. Oh my god.
The worst fall of it all has to be, I think, when there's kerosene on the rope and they're outside and Kevin lights it.
Oh
and they end up falling 4 or 5 stories up, and they land. They hit the beams, the scaffolding, which then send them down another level, and all the paint cans then fall back onto them. And if somehow they're still alive, they're pissed. I hope your parents got you a tombstone for Christmas. Don't care if I get the chair. I'm killing this kid.
Yeah, which is weird. There was I feel like a lot more of them saying, I'm going to murder this little child.
They're not
which
messing
is
around
just
anymore.
An interesting situation.
They're the sticky bandits now. They're all filters are off.
Yeah. But we're going into the park. Kevin finally decides to call the cops. He's like, I did enough damage. Meet me in the park. And then during all this, Kevin slips himself and falls on ice. And so they bring him into the park. And just like the first movie with the man with the shovel, The scary pigeon lady is there to
She
save the day.
returns.
She did it. Covers them in birdseed, and the pigeons attack. And
oh man,
we have to remember, this is before really the days of CGI. There's Pesci said he was really covered in birdseed for 300 pigeons to attack, and Daniel Stern also was like, yeah, a pigeon flew into my mouth. So
oh my God, no way, dude.
I mean, hopefully they're trained pigeons that like are kept and clean, like
trained pigeons. Get out of here.
But if they're really shooting in the park, even if they have some trained pigeons, there's going to be some wild ones sneaking in to get that birdseed or something.
Oh my God, no way, dude.
But
nope.
This is just an interesting fact I came across. This is actually not the first time the Pigeon Lady and Joe Pesci worked together. And I'll say worked here because Brendan Fricker, who I said won the supporting actress Oscar in I guess it would be the 1990 ceremony for a 1989 film. The tradition goes that usually they present the other supporting category the following year. And that was the year that Joe Pesci won his Oscar for Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not about Home Alone 2, but I have to share it because Joe Pesci delivers probably one of the best Oscar speeches of all time.
Yeah.
Let's play it.
And the Oscar goes to Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
Pigeon Lady just announced the award. We got Joe Pesci coming up. We got Tom Cruise in there.
Oh, it's my privilege. Thank you.
That's great, dude.
Short and sweet.
Fantastic. I love that speech.
That's what they need to do nowadays. Just short and sweet. But the fireworks go off. The cops are there, and Marv spills all the beans. Sorry, we're a bit cranky. We just broke out of prison a few weeks ago. The bandits are now behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
And Duncan is now seeing the damage to his store. And despite it being like 2 a.m. on Christmas Day, he needs that money to go to the children's hospital immediately. He needs to get to them
before it gets stolen
right now.
again.
Before it gets stolen. He sees Kevin's note on the brick. And I'm really surprised the police didn't have any questions. Who is this Kevin? What is this brick? Because between this and the first movie, the police never know that Kevin's involved in any of this, which is wild to think about. But Kevin signs his name. He says, it's or I think he just says Kevin. I don't know if he knows if he put McAllister on it. But it does say, I guess, the Plaza Hotel. So I guess that's how Duncan figures out.
I think he referenced the turtle doves too, yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
I'm actually more impressed by his
really good.
His writing, his good writing.
Yeah.
Without the double lines in the middle dash line like a kindergarten.
Yeah, it's very, very straight. It's all even. Very nice
yes.
work, Kevin.
Very the scripture is great.
Yeah, so the mom is still out looking for Kevin, runs into some police officers, has a bit of an attitude, I feel like, that they haven't done enough. And it's interesting to me because I feel like she didn't seem so, like, obviously she's concerned, but like when they were just like waiting in that room in Florida, it was just like they were just sitting around. And I feel like, well, she could have like flown to Chicago. Like the first movie, she was like, I will do whatever it takes. I will sell my wedding ring to get to a plane to make sure I get on the van with a John Candy. Like I was like, this movie, she was just like waiting around. I'll wait for a phone call. And even Catherine O'Hara thought her character wasn't trying hard enough, so they added in a few scenes, and this is what we ended up getting. Because she's like, I don't think there's enough concern, for my character. But they reunite at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, the biggest tree in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's all good. It's Christmas morning. I guess they were comped this giant suite at the Plaza for all their trouble.
Yeah.
It's ginormous. This thing has a staircase. This thing is huge. This is just as big as their house in Chicago. What was that?
The Duchess just left. it's
Yeah, I
the
guess,
best
yeah.
room in the place.
Yeah, the whole family's there. There's all these presents that are secretly there from Duncan, and it's like again, how did he know how many? Like, who to
Yeah,
exactly give him to? The names on the cards. He somehow figured all this out at like 3 a.m. on
for
Christmas
sure.
Day. But
Because he's secretly
He's
Santa
Santa,
Claus,
yeah.
dude.
oh, that's the. It could have been a Santa Claus, Tim Allen like crossover. Maybe they could have done him, the Santa Claus in this, but I don't know. Buzz is super nice. All of a sudden, he says Kevin should get the first present. Hands Kevin the present. They all agree, but then immediately they start opening all of them. So that was a waste. And Kevin, during all this chaos, realizes, oh, I gotta go say hello and thank the pigeon lady. Give the turtle dove friendship present to her. I love how they spent a week looking for Kevin. Kevin was missing. And immediately when they get reunited Christmas morning, Kevin's able to just sneak out and
There's presents.
They forget about him. But
I just think it's weird that he's running to go hug her when he
Yeah.
pointed out earlier she's covered in poop. Like, really, Kevin? Like, I mean,
they're friends now. They're friends.
I don't know. No offense. If you guys are covered in bird poop, I'm not hugging you.
Yeah, you're not hugging me with poop? What
Nah,
the
dude.
You're not getting
hell?
a
Sorry.
turtle dove ornament from me.
I'll
giving
accept
mine
the
to
ornament.
Kyle.
I'm not
Nope, I'm giving it to
hugging the
Kyle.
poop coat. No, sorry.
But when Kevin's out here, the room service bill is delivered for Kevin's stay. $967. The dad is so mad, you can hear him from the park. Okay, it's a lot of money, especially for 30 years ago. But we've already established that this man is made of money. And because of Kevin, you got a suite comped at the Plaza.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably more than the cost of it.
Yeah, but with the room service or the hotel?
The hotel room they're being comped is probably worth
That's
more
what I'm
than
saying.
the $1,000 worth of thing. Especially when, like, I think we looked at Kevin's receipt earlier. It was like 300 something a night for the room he was in originally. So I can only imagine that the suite's probably a couple thousand a night. No?
Oh my god.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, the dad should be, I only have to pay $1,000 for room service when I have a suite at the Plaza. That's a fair trade. I'll do that.
Yeah.
But he's not happy, and that's what we end on. That is Home Alone 2. I just want to quickly, I know we're a little over, but I want to quickly talk about the legacy of the Home Alone franchise because, well, this is it for the Culkin Home Alones. There's technically 6 films in this franchise.
That's insane, man.
Have you seen any of the other Home Alone films?
I think maybe I've seen the third one with that one kid, but that's pretty much it.
I've seen the third one. The third one, I think, was like the last one that was actually released in theaters. And the third one is like there's like 4 bad guys, and the kid has like a pet parrot. I just remember
just adding more stuff.
The thing I liked about it is he had like an RC like remote controlled car and had like a camera on it, and he was like sending it into the other house to like check to see if like the burglars were in there. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, there's nobody's really involved in this except for actually John Hughes. He did write this one. Originally, it was going to be a teenage Kevin, but at the time, Culkin wasn't acting anymore, so they rewrote it, made it a bit younger, made it nothing to do with the McAllisters, and that was it. But then, last year, there was Home Sweet Home Alone on Disney Plus. Did anyone remember this one? It's
No,
written by
thank
Mikey
you.
Day, Streeter Seidel of SNL there, but there's really one real Easter egg in this, and it's that Devin Ratray, who played Buzz in Home Alone 1 and 2, reprises his role as Buzz McAllister, but this time he's a police officer. So we got some backstory. He went into law enforcement, Buzz, and it's implied that Kevin, Macaulay Culkin here, has gone into the home security business. So he probably has, whatever, the security system and cameras and the alarms, which, all right, that's a nice little Easter egg that's where Kevin ended up all these years later. But yeah, that is it. I don't know what else there is to cover with Home Alone 2. Did we miss anything?
I think we said too much.
I think we said too much. I think we did too much. I don't know. But yeah, these are all. I do enjoy these. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. Just going back to these childhood movies and being like, what were we being served when we were
Yeah.
8 years old or
There was a lot
7
of
years old?
questionable themes where I'm like, man, is this what we should be teaching kids? I don't know. But
yeah, well, that is it. And we're going to be actually off next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday. We're taking some time off, but there's going to be a lot to come up in December. We're gonna catch up on what we missed in November because there's a lot of TV. There's Welcome to Chippendales drops this week, The Crown season 5, Atlanta series finale we could talk about, plus the White Lotus season 2 finale is coming up in December. So there's a lot of TV. Avatar: The Way of Water, we might check that out, and the yearly wind down. That's our final show of the year. It's tradition. And for this one, we need your votes. We just launched today our annual survey where we ask, what were your favorite movies, TV shows, and pop culture moments from the past year? You can vote in the survey. We can tabulate the results and we'll reveal them later on in December. And you can find the link for this survey on our social media handles. And of course, in the show notes, it'll be in our Linktree page that you can click on the link. It's a Google form. Fill it out. It really helps us for that show. And then finally, if you liked this and you want even more holiday movie recaps, we've done a bunch. We've done Jingle All the Way, Home Alone 1, obviously 2 years ago, and everyone's favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Willy Wonka.
So we got a lot of movies you can watch and listen back to and break it all down. I really got to thank both you guys this week for watching this full movie, for going long, breaking it all down with me. John, for directing the show. So many images on our Twitch stream. Plus, that segment header was made from scratch by John. Looked just like the opening credits. I don't know how you did it, but thank you both so much. And if you like this, you can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, of course, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy. Usually Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern is when we go live. And of course, follow us, at least for the time being, on Twitter and on Instagram at Dual Redundancy. But that's it. That's all I got. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm Trevor Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and a Happy New Year.